Six of Crows gay? I'm about to lose my shit. What hello peoples of the internet, my name is Kevin and welcome back to another video. Okay guys, so for today's video I'm doing another reading for the first time series, and this is just going to be a very short version of this. Usually I have a couple of books in the series. This is just a duology, and you've seen from the title and the thumbnail, you know what book it is and what series and what duology I'm about to start reading. And before we get into this and we talk about it a bit more, I do want to just address the fact that I have said for such a long time that I'm never going to read this book. I've said it so many times, I've mentioned it a couple of times. I did a video called Books I Will Never Read, and as you can see from the thumbnail, what is in the thumbnail? Six of Crows. But also I said in that video that never say never, because I said that when this TV show announcement starts to come out for the Grishaverse, I might suddenly want to read Six of Crows. And that's exactly what has happened. Also, so many of you guys have told me that Six of Crows is so good and you all think I will like it, so I'm really trusting all of your opinions right now, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. I really want to read it. So without further ado, the books that I'm going to be reading in this new series is the Six of Crows series. I have the box set with Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, both by Leigh Bardugo. I'm very excited to get into this world and see everything that's going to unfold. And so here we have the book itself, Six of Crows, and the main reason once again as well why I have been so hesitant to ever read this is because I read Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, which is another trilogy by her, and that came out before Six of Crows did, and I read Shadow and Bone a couple of years ago, and I just wasn't a huge fan of it. And then because of that, I was just like, you know what, I didn't really like the world, I didn't really like how everything in Shadow and Bone, so I don't know if I'm going to like Six of Crows, and so I just never read it, and I was just like, I don't want to read it. And then so many people kept telling me that Six of Crows is so much better than Shadow and Bone, and loads of other people also felt the same way as me about Shadow and Bone, but they were like, Kevin, when I read Six of Crows, everything changed. So I'm really hoping that is what's gonna happen with me. And I don't know too much about this book, except for the fact I know it mainly follows around a heist, and there's a heist mission in here. That's really all I know about this, and I know that everyone loves the characters, and I know everyone loves the character Kaz Brecker, because I see him all the time. I see cosplays of him all of the time. So that's about as much as I know with this book. And just like always, I'm gonna be sharing all of my spoiler thoughts on this book. So if you haven't read the book and you don't want to be spoiled, then I wouldn't suggest you continue watching, because I am going to share lots of spoilers when I'm reading this, share all of my reactions, all of my opinions, and we're going to find out the main question. Is Six of Crows actually good? That is the question. That's the question mark. I'm excited to find out. Time to start reading this bad boy. Okay guys, so about to start reading Six of Crows. We shall see what's going to unfold in here, and I am really excited. I've already said that, but I am really excited. And yeah, we're just gonna dive in, see how long it's gonna take me, see what I think, share all my thoughts and opinions. Also, look at this right on the front cover. Stunning. There's no mourners, no funerals. Love that. Oh my god, there's a map. We get a map. I haven't read a fantasy book in so long, and I just love that there's a, oh my god, Ketterdam. I've heard about Ketterdam. I know that that's like one of the main cities in this series. Oh, there seems like there's some like monster in the ocean over here. Love that. Not really, because I hate going into the ocean or the sea because it terrifies me. There could be any, oh my god, a second map. There's two maps. I'm into this already. I'm into it already. And there is like a glossary. I love when books come with a glossary so that you can just refer back to things if you get confused, and like you can remember what everything is meant to be. Love when they include that. I didn't know there was magic in this and people had powers. Not me already simping for the book and I haven't even started. Anyways, here we go. So part one, shadow business. We're about to go in. Okay guys, so it is the next morning and I didn't vlog much yesterday when I was reading, but I have started Six of Crows and I'm up to chapter 3, page 35. And from the 2 chapters I've already read, I might be already in love with the book. Not me being stubborn about reading this book for years and then I finally start reading it and I'm already in love with it within 30 pages. That's not me. Telling you now, it's not me. That is not what I'm about. I'm not showing that side of myself. Narrator, he was showing that side of himself. I'm already really liking the book and I'm so annoyed at myself now because like, why was I just being stubborn about reading this? why? But obviously that's only the first 30 pages. It could change, so I'm not going to just assume that I like the book already, but from what I've read so far, I do like it. And I just met the infamous Kaz Brecker. I just met him and already like him as a character. Like, he's probably gonna be my favorite character, I already have a feeling, because the way he just handled the situation. Basically, what I'm gathering is that there's several different gangs, and there was one called the Dregs. I thought it would be written on the back of the book. It's not. But I believe there's a gang called the Dregs. Then there's one called the Black Tips. And then there's a couple other ones as well. So they all have like their own tension, and like they don't get along with each other and stuff like that. And then they all have their certain areas that are like their territory and stuff like that. And from what I'm gathering, Kaz is kind of the leader of his one. I don't know if his group is the Dregs or something to do with the Crow, because they were mentioning something else about Crow, and so I'm like, is that his one? But I feel like he's the Dregs, but I could be wrong, so I don't want to like assume that yet. But there was also this other person who just is supposed to be lazy and doesn't really do anything, so I think that person is the leader. Can't remember the name. Hold on, let me find out. Haskell, I think, is the name of the guy who might be the head guy of the Dregs, but I feel like Kaz is more the head guy. And then basically I met some other people that are in like Kaz's like circle friend group. Or are they friends, or are they just like a gang members? Whatever. I met them too. So I met Jesper and I met Inej. And the minute I saw her name, I thought of Betty. If you know Betty by Taylor Swift, there's a lyric in it that says, "You heard the rumors from Inej." I just started thinking about that, so every time she appears in this book, I'm going to think of Betty by Taylor Swift. Basically what happened, there was a confrontation and Kaz was talking to this guy named Giles, or Giles, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, and they were like confronting each other, and Giles thought he was gonna shoot Kaz and like get away with everything, but it turns out Kaz had like already manipulated the guards that were on duty that were supposed to kill Kaz. He planned it all up, and he found out that one of his guys was betraying him. His name was Big Bolliger. Probably pronouncing that wrong again. Pretty sure he just died because he betrayed Kaz and the Dregs. Kaz was just so badass, and I already love him. Like, he's so iconic, and I just know I'm going to love his character. And then the first chapter followed this guy named Juice, who is a soldier, and he was looking for this girl named Anya, who we found out is one of the Grisha. And she is, hold on, I can't remember what she was. Oh no, she's able to like heal people, so she's one of those Grishas. Because in here, like I said, it does say like the different types of Grisha that there are. So she was a corporal key, which means that she is the order of the living and the dead, and she was a healer. So she's like able to heal someone just by touching them and stuff like that. And there was this guy called Hode, and he basically made Anya take like this powder substance that like heightened her abilities to heal people. But also, it seems like she was able to control other people, because she was able to control one of the guys to like shoot the glass and like made him shoot instead. And obviously she's only meant to be able to heal people, but she was able to like control him and make him do something that he didn't want to do. So I'm assuming that's going to have a bigger play in the book, but that's so far where I am. And the next chapter that I'm reading is chapter 3, and it's just called Kaz. Why do I already know that him and Inej's chapters are gonna be my favorites? I just know they are. I know they are. Okay, so I'm only 3 pages into continuing my read, but there's already so many quotes in here that I just really love. And so the one I'm about to tell you right now is between Kaz and Inej, and basically Kaz has walked away and he's like heading home, I think, and Inej is like following him. Inej gives me like assassinator vibes, like she's always in the shadows. She's known as the Wraith. She's very good at like sneaking up on people and like staying hidden. And so she was basically following Kaz home away from the whole deal and the confrontation between the Black Tips and the Dregs. But basically Inej says to Kaz like about why isn't he going to this street to like help with the fire, because Kaz threatened Giles, the main guy from the Black Tips, saying that if he killed Kaz had some of his men at Giles's girlfriend's house, and he was going to basically burn the house down with her inside of it if he killed Kaz. But obviously that didn't happen, so Kaz was just like threatening him with that so that he would live. Like if Giles had have killed Kaz, nothing would have actually happened because Kaz was just lying and bluffing. And so Inej finds that out, that he was bluffing, and Kaz says, when everyone knows you're a monster, you needn't waste time doing every monstrous thing. Why do I find that so powerful? I'm like, wow. Kaz is a lyrical genius. I'm honestly simping for him so early in this book. Okay guys, so I'm up to page 59 now. Just finished that chapter and we basically just got the majority of the plot for this book. So we found out, as I already said, that the Grisha are these people in this world that have magic abilities and they're able to do stuff. There's people that can heal people, some that can control water, like they can control waves, they can get water to come from a local source and all that kind of stuff. And basically what we found out is that there has been this new drug that was created called Jurda Parem. And basically if you take this drug, or a Grisha takes this drug, it makes their abilities heightened and they can do something else. So for example, there is a tide maker, which is, as I said, one of the Grisha that are able to control water. So when that person took the drug, they were now able to like walk through walls because they were able to make themselves into a form of gas because they're manipulating what they could do with water and turn themselves into a solid or a gas, basically, and they're able to like walk through walls then. So that's also what happened at the start of the book, where the Grisha that was a healer took it and then she was able to like control people because she was able to control their brains, which is part of something that you need to heal. So that's why she was able to control them with their brains. So basically this new drug is a new thing that's after coming out, and basically if it goes out into the world, the Grisha are going to be so incredibly powerful and there's just going to be a big massive war. So basically Kaz was taken hostage by this guy named Van Eyck, I think that's how you pronounce his name, or Van Eyck. And basically that guy told Kaz all about the drug and everything and what was happening with the Grisha. And he told them about this scientist who made up the drug and is now basically in danger because there's so many people trying to find out the formula to make the drug. And like the scientist is like, I don't know if I want to like let everyone have this because it's going to be too powerful. So that scientist has now been taken and he is being held in the ice court, which is a prison, I believe. Like this is the ice court. And I'm just assuming it's a prison. And the guy who took Kaz hostage basically wants Kaz to gather up a group of people and bust this guy out of the prison, basically. And so the guy has offered Kaz 30 million of their money. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Krug or Krug. I'm not sure how you say it. But he's offered him that much money to basically bust out this scientist from that prison. And that's basically what I think the whole plot of this book is, because everyone always says that it's a heist book, so I'm assuming that's the heist. That's what they're doing. They're going to get this scientist out of the prison. And yeah. Okay guys, so I'm now up to part 2 of the book and I'm on page 103. And I've just met Nina, which is another member of the Dregs. And I'm pretty sure Nina is going to come with Kaz and Inej for the heist. And basically Nina was like hesitant to go because she was like, I need something in it for me that's more than just money and all this kind of stuff. And so Kaz made a deal where he would break out this guy named Matthias, or Matthias, I don't know how to pronounce his name again. A struggle of my life with this book is not knowing how to pronounce names. And basically he said that he would like get him out of jail because he's in jail, and we know that Nina and him have some sort of connection or something. They're in the jail getting him out right now. And they're about to leave the prison cell, walking out with Matthias, and then he suddenly like wakes up or something and he starts to realize that Nina's holding him and he's like, Nina, Nina, Nina. And then the next thing we know, Nina's on the ground and he is choking her. And now I'm on part 2 called Servant and Lever, and the next chapter is from Matthias. So I'm assuming we're about to find out some more because I'm like, okay, what is the deal? What did Nina and Matthias get up to? Clearly something is not adding up here. They got issues, but you got them too. Give them all to me and I'll give mine to you. Like Julia Michaels wants to help these two, you know what I mean? Hello, hi, welcome back to another day of vlogging. I look like I haven't changed, but that's just because I'm wearing the same hoodie for the 3rd day in a row. It's mental illness, innit? So anyways, with Six of Crows, I'm now up to page 129. Really haven't been making that much progress. I've been reading this quite slowly, but I've been really trying to absorb the world and just understand everything that's going on. Basically what's been happening is I've been meeting all of the characters that are going to take part in this heist to get this scientist out that is behind this drug. So I've basically just met all of them. We found everyone's motive as to why they're helping Kaz do this heist. Oh my god, the lighting just got so intense. I looked very, very white. Oh my god, okay, where is that coming from? Hello? I asked where the light's coming as if I'm not in a room surrounded by windows. I can't with myself sometimes. But basically I've just been meeting all of the characters, finding out what they're doing. The reason behind Matthias going to help with the heist is he definitely really wants to kill Nina for some reason, because Matthias is a witch hunter in where he lives, and I think he sees the Grisha as witches, and so he's hunting them, and that's really why he wants to kill Nina. Don't know why Nina really wanted to free him when he's trying to kill you. I don't know why you'd be like, oh my god, I need to free the person who wants to kill me. Something's not adding up there. And then we also met a character named Wylan, the guy who gave Kaz this heist mission and is paying Kaz to do it. Wylan is his son, I think. So Kaz is bringing him along for the heist so that he knows he'll definitely get paid because he has the guy's son. So yeah, that's basically everything that's been happening. I think they're actually gonna go do the heist now that they've got all of the characters they need. They have everything, they're ready to go. And just a little recount, the people in the squad for this heist is Kaz, Inej, Nina, Matthias, Wylan, and Jesper. They are the 6 characters taking part in this heist to break out this scientist from the prison so that the drug doesn't spread across the world to start a war and the Grisha become too powerful. That's basically the plot. There you go, we got there in the end. Okay guys, so it's been another few days since I've actually read anything of Six of Crows. I've been reading this so slowly, as I keep saying, and I'm so annoyed at myself. But anyways, I'm up to page 161 now of the book, and today I'm really hoping to make a lot of progress with it. Basically, they're going on the heist now, and they were like going to their boat to like start their journey to go break out this science guy from the prison. And when they went to go onto their boat to like start the journey, they were ambushed by someone else who was trying to kill them so that they couldn't go. So we then found out that there was someone that was working with Kaz on the boat who also betrayed him again. So second time in this book they've been betrayed again, and it was some guy named Umin, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and basically he was hired by this guy called Pekka Rollins. And we found out that this is like a guy who's like quite big in Ketterdam, like in the city and everything. And we know that Pekka Rollins did something to Kaz and his younger brother Geordie, because Geordie has passed away. And we know that, but we don't know how or what happened, but we know he has passed away, and it was something to do with Pekka Rollins, because Kaz has like this grudge and this anger towards the guy. And so when we found out that this guy Uman had betrayed Kaz to get him blown up when he was going onto his boat, we found out that Pekka Rollins was behind it. So Kaz is pissed. He's very angry because he's like, I do not like this guy for a reason. And also Inej got really injured during it, but then Kaz saved her and was like, no, you're not dying on me just yet. And I was like, oh my god, I love that. So now they're on their actual boat, starting on their mission and everything. And Inej is trying to be healed, like Nina's working on her and stuff like that. But then Kaz started questioning the Uman guy that Pekka Rollins sent him to blow up the boat. So Kaz wanted to get the information out of Uman, and he wouldn't say anything. So Kaz freaking ripped the guy's eye out to get the information. I was reading it and I was like, what is he doing? Because he started doing like an X across the guy's eye, and I was like, okay, what are you doing? Why are you just scarring him with the letter X? Like, is he a new X-Men? Are you making him an X-Men? Like, it's an X on his eye, he's a man, Kaz is making him an X-Men. But alas, that is not what he was doing. He was literally just like, oop, I'm making my target, taking out the eye. And I was just reading it and I was like, okay. And Kaz gets the information out of Uman, and then Kaz is just like, okay, great, and then just throws him off the boat overboard. When I said I was a simp for Kaz, I didn't know what I was getting myself in for, but I really am a simp. Like, he was like, I am pulling out your eye because you got my girl Inej hurt, because clearly Inej and Kaz got some tension there. And also another thing that I'm really liking is just a random thing, is between Jesper and Wylan, I am getting such Styles and Derek vibes between these two. If you guys seen Teen Wolf, you'll know the character Derek, you know the character Styles. And in that show, Derek is a werewolf and Styles is Dylan O'Brien's character. He's just a human. And Styles is so innocent and doesn't understand what's going on half the time. And Derek is just like so serious at times, and like he knows what he's doing, and he just can't take people not knowing what they're doing. Like, he just doesn't tolerate stupidity. And I'm getting that vibe from Jesper and Wylan. Like, Jesper just seems like the Derek in this situation, and Wylan is just so clueless and doesn't understand what's going on. And he's just like, wait, why are we doing that? And Jesper's like, shut up. Shut up, Wylan. And I'm living for it. I'm loving their bantering between the two of them. And I think I'm going to really like that partnership. And I feel like Jesper is probably going to get very protective over Wylan. And I'm going to love to watch that flourish. Like, the spice. Everything. Love it. So we also know that Pekka Rollins was trying to blow up Kaz as well because he is also on the same mission to break out the science guy from the prison. So now we have Kaz's crew and we have Pekka Rollins' crew. Who's going to get there first? When they both get there, is there going to be a fight? Who knows? Okay, first of all, I'm very aware this angle is awful, but I'm so comfortable right now reading that I just didn't want to sit up when I vlogged, so we're in this position. But I'm now up to page 176 of Six of Crows, and we got some more of the backstory behind Nina and Matthias and like why there's such tension there between them. Nina was learning to become a soldier in Ravka, which is like another country in this world, and basically Matthias, as I already said, works as a witch hunter, and like that's why he is in his country. So he has to hunt down the Grisha and like take them to be sentenced to trial or something. One day Nina ended up bumping into Matthias in the woods, and she tried to pretend that she wasn't a Grisha and she was just like a lost woman. But he saw right through her and knew what she was. And so he captured her and put her onto a boat full of other Grisha that were being sent to the ice court, which is where they're going to try bust out the science man. Anyways, so she was going to get sent there for court. But then apparently on the boat, there was like a storm one night and there was a shipwreck. But I'm assuming that they are like the only two survivors of this shipwreck. And then the two of them like bonded together. But then at the very end of the chapter, it said that she betrayed him in some way. And that's one of the reasons why he still hates her to this day. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm simping once again because I'm here for their storyline. I am so invested. I want to know what happened. And right at the end of the chapter, Matthias was telling Nina that when he was at Hellgate, which is where they just busted him out of, he was saying that like, oh, I constantly dreamed about you and all of these different things. And so many things. I'm literally simping over these characters. I want their romance to blossom. I want them to be happy, you know? He was telling her about how he always dreamed about her. And she goes, what happened in them dreams? And he goes, horrible things, the worst kinds of torture. You drowned me slowly. You burned my heart from my chest. You blinded me. And then she says, I was a monster. And he says, a monster, a maiden, a sylph of the ice. You kissed me, whispered stories in my ears. You sang to me and held me as I slept. Your laughs chased me into waking. You always hated my laugh. I loved your laugh, Nina, and your fierce warrior's heart. I might have loved you too. Might have, once, before she had betrayed him. Those words carved an ache into her chest. She knew she wouldn't speak, but she couldn't help herself. And what did you do, Matthias? What did you do to me in your dreams? The ship listed gently. The lantern swayed. His eyes were blue fire. Everything, he said as he turned to go. Everything. Now, when he said everything, I'm like, okay, like, does he mean that, like, he was doing bad things to her? As in, like, because he wants to kill her so badly? Like, was he doing that kind of stuff? Or when he says everything, did they mean, like, in a romantic way? I don't know how that works there, like, what he meant by that. I'm gonna hope he meant good things. And the next chapter is from Matthias, so I think we're gonna get more backstory. I'm here for it. I'm here for Nina and Matthias. Basically, this book is me simping over every single character in here. They're all just great. I love them. They're amazing. I would take a bullet for any of them. Actually, no, I would. No, I definitely would. Okay guys, so it's the next day and I actually did read quite a lot yesterday. I'm actually quite happy with myself. I got up to page 257, yeah, 257, and I'm now on part 4? Yeah, part 4. Parkour! I hate myself. And basically they have landed in the country Fjerda, I think that's how you pronounce it, and basically that's where Matthias is from, so he's back like in his homeland basically, and this is also where the ice court is and how they're going to break into the ice court to save Mr. Science Guy. But they're basically like determining their strategy, how they're going to do it, and like they're gonna get an edge to go up an incinerator or something like that, and then everyone's gonna climb down, something along those lines. The plan itself, I don't think it really matters. Like, I'll read it in real time as it's happening, so that's all that matters, because I'm sure it's not gonna go to plan anyways, so Fine. And the group all got attacked by some Grisha that are under the drug, and they were able to like crack the ground and like basically make like this earthquakey type of thing. And then they ended up killing the two Grisha, and that happened. And Nina wanted to bury them because obviously she is a Grisha herself, so she's like, I want to bury my people. And so her and Matthias stay back to bury the people. And then we find out that Nina has like her own plan, and she's like, I'm not planning on letting that science guy get out of that prison alive. And Matthias is like, I knew you were up to that this whole time. So they made a plan that they're going to make sure that the science guy dies so that Kaz, Inej, Jesper and Wylan don't get him out alive, because Nina doesn't want the drug to get out into the world, because she doesn't want anything else to happen to the Grisha, because she is one, so she's protecting her people. And Matthias doesn't want it to happen just because he hates Grisha full stop, so he doesn't want them to be any more powerful. And we found out that they like formed this friendship when she got captured like in the past, like in their flashback whatever, and she saved him from the shipwreck, and then they like just formed a friendship together, and then she ended up betraying him and like saying that he was using her as a slave. And like in Kerch, which is a country in here, which is where Ketterdam is, it's illegal to have slaves, so Matthias got arrested for that. And she did that because when they were in Fjorda, which is his country, he was going to get in trouble because he was friends with Nina, because obviously he's a witch hunter, he's not supposed to be friends with the witch. And there was also more Grisha like undercover in the town that they were in, so Nina was trying to protect them, so she was like, right, I'm gonna get Matthias arrested. And she told Matthias that, and now they've kind of like rekindled everything, and that's why they now have this mission where they're going to kill the science guy. There you go. It's so complicated trying to explain this. I'm so sorry if you're confused if you have not read the book, but if you have read the book, you'll probably understand everything I'm talking about. Okay guys, so I'm now up to page 273. We found out that Pekka Roland, which is that other gang lord leader guy who's also going to the prison to break out the science guy Bo Yule, and we found out that Pekka Rollins killed Kaz's brother. So Kaz really doesn't like that Pekka Rollins is also the other guy going to this prison, also doing a heist. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I think I mentioned Jordy, Kaz's brother, a while ago, but I never actually mentioned then that we found out that Pekka Rollins was the guy who killed him. Okay, so they've just gotten into the prison and they got through all of the guards and stuff, and we also found out that Pekka Rollins' men were like spiked on the walls of the prison, so clearly they weren't very successful in their heist mission. But Kaz and all of the gang are in there. We interrupt this broadcast because Kevin is shooketh, so we're gonna take a second here. This isn't even that big of a deal, but I'm on page 291. We're on a Jesper chapter, and we just found out that Jesper is Grisha and he's a fabricator. Didn't see that coming, didn't expect that. And we just know this now. Like, that's just information. Jesper's just like, here you go. And also, Jesper is now flirting with Wylan. Is there going to be a relationship there? I already said earlier on in this vlog how I was really liking Jesper and Wylan together and I love their bantering. If that turns into a relationship, I'm really not going to be okay. Anyways, I'm going to continue. Just needed to talk about that because, like, he literally said, because Wylan was asking Jesper, like, why did you never say that you were a Grisha? Like, why have you never said this before? And Jesper said, I like walking the streets free. I like not worrying about being snatched up by a slaver or put to death by some skiv like our friend Helvar here. Besides, I have other skills that bring me more pleasure and profit than this. Lots of other skills. Wylan coughed. Flirting with him might actually be more fun than annoying him, but it was a close call. Guys, I'm gonna lose my shit if they end up becoming a couple. I will not be okay.
A few moments later.
Okay, I thought I was done just having this little theory about Jesper and Wylan being a couple. Is Six of Crows gay? I'm about to lose my shit. Like, I could be completely irrational right now. This might not be a thing. He literally could have just been flirting. If it's gay, I'm going to lose my... Six of Crows is gay. It has to be. I can't tell who my favorite characters are. I'm getting it. I'm getting the understanding why people love this so much. I'm understanding it. I hate myself that I was so stubborn about not wanting to read this for such a long time. Because I was just like, oh, it's gonna be just as bad as Shadow and Bone. I didn't like Shadow and Bone. Shut up, pass, Kevin. Just read the damn book. I'm so annoyed at myself for not reading this sooner.
A few moments later.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Screams in gay. It's gay. It's gay. Jesper and Wylan, it's canon. I'm shipping it. It's happening. That's going to be a thing. I did not expect this. I really did not expect this. And the reason I'm now like confirming that it's definitely gay is because they like broke into the prison pretending that they were criminals. So then they got locked up in the prison, like in cells. Then they broke out of the cells to go do their plan, which was have Inej climb up the incinerator or something. But that didn't go to plan because the incinerator is turned on. And so they can't really do that. But then I don't really know what's going on. I'm just rolling with the flow. It's very complicated to try to explain. They're doing a heist. That's all I could say. And basically they were like, oh my God, we can't go up the incinerator now because it's on. Like there's stuff burning. We can't do this. And then they found their clothes, which has Inej's shoes, and apparently they're like magic shoes or something and help her climb. And so that happens, and basically Wylan says, what do you say, Wraith? Can you make the climb? I can. Jesper took the shoes from Wylan. If I didn't think these might be crawling with disease, I would kiss them and then you. Jesper and Wylan are a thing. This just came out of nowhere, but I'm here for it. Okay, so I'm up to page 321 now. Things have been going badly with their heist. The alarm has gone off. Inej climbed the incinerator and like the fire was like burning her feet and everything. And then Nina got split up from Kaz, and then she ended up killing soldiers, and then the alarms went off. And then we also found out that Kaz is after wandering off in the prison because he found Pekka Rollins in one of the cells. So I think Kaz is about to get some revenge for Geordie right now. Okay guys, so I'm up to page 362. I have like less than 100 pages left. And I have confirmed, I've come to the conclusion that Six of Crows is gay. And I'm very happy about this. Because basically they're doing the whole heist mission again. They've all kind of split off into like pairs. So it's Inej and Nina, Kaz and Matthias, and Jesper and Wylan. They're all doing like separate different things. Jesper and Wylan, I think, were going to like break some gate. I'm pretty sure that's what they were doing. But anyways, they ended up like getting attacked, and like Jesper and Wylan handled it and stuff like that. And they're like flirting again, and I can't handle this. I see gay characters, I'm like, oh my God, it's me. I'm in a book. I want them to live happily ever after. That's how I always feel. Basically, they're kind of like bantering with each other. Wylan says, I don't like the idea of killing people either. I don't even like chemistry. What do you like? Music, numbers, equations. They're not like words. They don't get mixed up. If only you could talk to girls in equations, Jesper says. There was a long silence, and then eyes trained on the notch they'd created in the link. Wylan said, just girls? Jesper restrained a grin. No, not just girls. Gay!
A few moments later.
Why? Oh my God, I'm tearing up. Why am I tearing up? This is not even sad. Tearing up. It's not sad. It's not sad. It's not sad. My heart's just breaking for the betrayal. So what just happened is Nina was basically found this guy named Broom, it was his name, and he's like the leader of the witch hunters basically, and she was like flirting with him and stuff, and she was trying to get information on him to find out where Bool Yulbayer, the science guy, is, so that she could obviously break him out with all the rest of the gang. And she's going walking with him, and he's showing her like all of these Grisha that are in prison, and like he's saying, oh, I can give them the drug and you can see how funny it is, and she's like, no thanks. And then she walks into this cell with the guy, and the cell door closes, and I'm like, oh, he recognized her, he knows who she is, and he was like to her, oh, go ahead, kill me. You can kill me, but everyone else will know who you are, and I'll be able to like kill you myself, so that's fine. Then basically he's saying like how he can't kill Nina. So he says, then Broom paused. No, this vengeance is not mine to take. There is someone who owes you so much more. He vanished from the window, and a moment later, Matthias's face filled the glass. He looked back at her, his eyes hard. How? Nina whispered, not even sure if they could hear her through the door. Did you really believe I'd turn against my nation? Matthias' voice was thick with disgust. That I'd give up the cause I devoted my life to. I came to warn Broom as soon as I could. Matthias just betrayed them. I liked him. I really liked him. I liked him and Nina. And I was like, here for it. No! I think that's why I teared up. I'm so sad right now. I liked him.
A few moments later.
Never mind, crisis averted. I just teared up for no reason. Turns out that Matthias was doing a plan to get the master key off of Broom because Matthias knew that Broom would know where Bull is, which is the science guy. He knew that he would know where he was, and he was correct. Broom ended up telling Matthias then, oh, I have the master key to his cell, like he's over there, just unlock him, like I can do it later on if you want. And then Matthias gives him a hug and makes him unconscious. And then he goes to break out Nina. All is right in the world again. But my emotions, I'm like a freaking roller coaster. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so I'm on page 407 now, and I'm on the final part. And basically, they just found out that Bull is actually dead, and the person that they have in the prison, like trying to make the drug, is actually Bull son, Kuwei. So Kuwei is who they've taken, who Nina, Matthias and Kaz have taken, and they've gone down like the tree. There's like a main tree in this prison that like the witch hunters have to like get a blessing from to become a witch hunter, and they basically blew up that tree because they knew there was like a river underneath it, and they've all gone down there, and they're using like this pill that they have that you bite and it helps you breathe for like 10 minutes or so. And we don't know what's happened to Inej. Is she okay? What's happening to her? We also don't know if Jesper and Wylan are okay, because the last time we heard about them, they were getting attacked by Grisha, who were tide makers. So let's hope they're okay. Also, we found out more information about Kaz that I just wanted to talk about. We found out why he walks with a cane. Basically, he robbed a bank with his crew several years ago when he was younger, and he fell from the roof and broke his leg when he was doing that. And when he went to get it fixed, the bone wouldn't fix correctly, so he had to walk around with a cane that was made by a fabricator. And then the reason that he wears gloves all of the time is because of when his brother died and when he was like around all of the other dead bodies that were with his brother, so he just doesn't like the feeling of skin on skin contact. So that is why he wears gloves. So I just finished it. Let's get into this. Okay, so basically from where I last talked about, Jesper and Wyland ended up finding Inej, and they escaped, and they got into like an army tank, which was amazing, and then they like blew through the wall of the prison. It was quite epic. And then they found Kaz and Kuwei and Matthias and Nina. They found all of them, they got into the tank, and then they were going to their boat to start sailing back to Ketterdam. But when they were doing that, they got ambushed by basically a whole army at the harbour, stopping them from doing that. And then Nina ended up taking some of the drug, and because she is a heartrender, she was then able to like control and like kill everyone, or like knock them all out. I don't think she killed them all, but like she did all of that, but she ended up taking some of the drug, and we know what happens to people after they've taken the drug. So I'm scared for what might happen to Nina in the second book. But anyways, because of Nina doing that, they managed to get away on the boat and sail back to Ketterdam. And then they go to get their money from Van Eck, and he basically betrayed them because he was not working for any council or anything. He was working for himself. He wants the drug for himself because he wants to control everything and just be like this ruler and most powerful person ever. And so Kaz doesn't get his money. Then they get ambushed by squallers, which are basically the Grisha that control wind and stuff, and they take Inej, and so many things happen. It was just blowing my mind. And so Van Eck went away then with the money, so Kaz never got any money. Also, Van Eck has Inej. The way it ends is basically Pekka Rollins never actually died. Kaz didn't kill him back in the prison. He actually let him go free because he was like, you're not supposed to die here. So Pekka Rollins survived. And then Kaz and the rest of the crew go to Pekka Rollins, ask for money because they need to get Inej back and they need to stop Van Eck. And that's where the book ends, and my mind is just, this was so good. 5 out of 5 stars. The way this book was written, the characters, the heist itself was so amazing to read. 5 stars. Like, has to be 5 stars. I am just so annoyed at myself for being so stubborn and not wanting to read this for so long. Why? I was missing out on such a great book. So if any of you guys have felt like I have and you didn't like Shadow and Bone, trust me, Six of Crows is way better. Please go read it, you will love it. The characters in here were just so well developed. The heist scene in here was amazingly done. Like, I literally felt like I was reading like a scene from a movie. It was that good and that perfectly written that I was envisioning it perfectly in my head, and I was just loving every second of it and the constant twists, and I was like, oh my god, did Matthias just betrayed them? And then no, he didn't. And then I'm like, oh my god, they're all screwed, they're not gonna get out of here. And then oh no, they're gonna get out of here. Constantly my emotions up and down, and like by the end of this I love every single character. I literally cannot tell you who's my favorite. I really don't know who my favorite is. I ship them all because they're all couples, like Kaz and Inej, Matthias and Nina, and then Jesper and Violet. Don't know who my favorites are. That's a lie. I'm gay, so I'm going to be biased towards the gay couple. Let's be real here. And now I'm going to be starting Crooked Kingdom. Oh my god, this cover is so stunning. I love the gold. But yeah, I'm going to be starting this one. I actually am planning on taking a little break over the Christmas period from filming videos. I do have several of them pre-filmed, so like you will still get videos coming up shortly. I just won't be vlogging for like 2 weeks or so because I want to spend time with my family because they're off for Christmas. So I'm going to be taking some time off and we're all just going to be like staying in the house, can't really go anywhere because of COVID and everything, but I just want to spend time with them and just not be vlogging and just enjoy their company. So I do want to start this, but also I want to vlog it obviously for you guys. So I'm not sure when I will be vlogging this and get this video out. Hopefully it won't be too long of a wait for you guys, but I definitely will be reading it and I will do a vlog once again for this. So it will be coming. So just be a little bit patient with me because I do want to take a little bit of a break from vlogging to spend time with my family. But yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Comment down below your thoughts, your opinions on Six of Crows. Please don't spoil anything for me for Crooked Kingdom. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And other than that, I will see you all next time in my next video. So goodbye, guys.